Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? My name is Jinco, and stoked to be here with you all today. I'm going to go through some of my tracks that I've made. I am originally from Santa Cruz, California, currently living in beautiful Santa Barbara. Just been in quarantine for the last little bit here, and I'm excited to share with you guys some of the things that I've learned along the way and kind of what I've done in this track that I got here. I'm going to go through Love is a Miracle. I released this back last year, January last year. Self-release, no promo, no nothing, just put it out the old-fashioned way. And yeah, just excited to share here with you guys what I did on this track. Just hold off here for just a little bit before I go into showing you some of this stuff. I'm going to go through two different songs. So the first one's going to be Love is a Miracle. Second one will be Bad For You, collaboration I did with Trove. Bad For You was released on Elysian Records, and yeah, it's just interesting to see how some label releases do good, some labels, they do what they do. But yeah, Love is a Miracle is a track that kind of encompass a lot of different genres that I love. One being future bass, there's some Jersey drums, and then some trap elements, but also has like a pop feel. And I think that some of the success of the song comes from the multi-genres that I combined into this one track. So what I'll do is I'll just go through I'll play the song through, and then I can start dissecting it for you guys. So here we go. Oops. And unmute. And if you guys have any questions along the way, just put them in the comments, and I will, get to them as they come through. So I'll get started here.
Look, you got me in a trance at just one glance. Ooh, your glory, I needed it. Look at my past. Do you need anything? You can use me, I'm yours. Do you see anything? You wanna change, arrange me? Your love is a miracle. Take me and I won't let go. I know. You got everything I want. Who am I to receive it? And who are you to give me it? No, I don't deserve your love, but you love unconditional. No, I don't deserve your love, but you love unconditional. No, I don't deserve your love, but you love unconditional. No, I don't deserve your love, but you love unconditional. No, I don't deserve your love. Your love is a miracle. Can you show me how to love the way you love me? I'm only here to honor what you want. We give you our praise. You are the only way. I'll go MIA just to see your face. Your love is a miracle. Take me and I won't let go. I know. You got everything I want. Who am I to receive it? And who are you to give me it? No, I don't deserve your love, but you love unconditional. No, I don't deserve your love, but you love unconditional. No, I don't deserve your love, but you love unconditional. No, I don't deserve your love, but you love unconditional. No, I don't deserve your love. Your love is a miracle. Tried hard to sustain gain, but nothing would ever go my way without losing something that was greater than anything in my own plan. I lost a match, but you know, I know, we know that your love is a miracle. Take me and I won't let go. I know, you got everything I want. Who am I to receive it, and who are you to give me it? No, I don't deserve your love, but you love unconditional. But you love unconditional. But you love unconditional.
All right, so there it is. There's a question here from AD. I'm just going to answer that real quick. So for all the tracks that I write, they're all different. So for this particular song, the vocalist Savannah, she kind of sent me an idea that she had, and this track was actually originally going to be a remix of the idea. It was simple. It was literally just her singing. It had just kind of drums and a bass line, and so I took just the vocal, threw everything away, and this is kind of what I came up with. And so what I like to do with vocals is let the singer kind of write what they feel, and then go in and kind of critique and change things and, you know, mix it up a little bit. If sometimes a vocalist will come through with something just fire right away and you won't have to do anything. So every song's different. With this one, I believe that her and I went back and forth a little bit on the Love is a Miracle. It's to give room for the vocal. You kind of just, you know, find the instruments that complement it. Obviously, you don't want to have too much going on otherwise the vocal will become, you know, you want the vocal to be the main focal point of the breakdowns, at least. So, you just gotta find the right instruments. It's all about finding the right instruments to fit with all the elements in your song. So for this one, for example, kind of right here, all that's really going on. Oops. I'll just show you. There's the drums. There's a kick. There's a snare, shaker, hats. I have these kind of like cool little atmospheric kind of things that just like create just atmosphere and space. Give them a bunch of reverb and EQ. I mean, obviously you can see there's literally nothing on this. It's literally just an EQ. But then I sent it to delay and reverb, which I have on my sends, and you can see what I have here. It's just a simple Valhalla vintage verb, just to give it that space. And the cool thing about doing these sends here is it puts it behind the sound, and it's not on top. So if you were to take this reverb and if you copied it and you laid it on top of it, it would actually put this sound behind the reverb. So reverb would be on top, it would push it back into the mix. So, and here actually, why don't I just show you real quick.
Make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer in every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
Real quick. So if you see how, and then take it off. It still has the reverb, but it's behind the sound. And so I do that sometimes with vocals and elements that I want to have reverb, but I don't want it to be pushed into the back. I want the reverb in the back, and I want the sound in the front. And so that also creates depth. So some things have reverb to put them in the back, some things don't, and it kind of creates these layers of reverb sounds and just clean sounds. So yeah, right here, it's just the vocal. I got a bass line. We got this lead gate that's kind of just going. It's not much going on with this thing. Just creating some atmosphere and some movement. And then obviously we got our bass line. Oh, we got our bass line. And this one has, so what I did is I separated these two basses. And so this bass is creating that low end. And then this bass is creating kind of the mids, highs. and then I spread the mid so that it's wide, and then mono the low. You always want your low end to be mono. That's very important. Also remember, any song that's being played in a nightclub, the speaker system is in mono. So if you have everything spread, there's a possibility. And if you haven't done an A/B test to see how your song sounds in mono before you bounce it for final, you could potentially play a song on a big system and everything, it just sounds like bass. And you don't want that to happen. So yeah, it's basically just, for this part, just piano, the transgate, the low end sub, the high sub, just to make it feel wide, this little atmosphere thing, and then her vocal.
Look, you got me in a trance.
And then our drums.
Look,
And let me get the snares going.
look, you got me in a trance at just one glance. Ooh, your glory, I needed it. Look at my past. Do you need anything? You can use me, I'm yours. Do you see anything? You wanna change, arrange me, your love.
So it's basically not much going on. So just the focal point is on the vocal, and the rest of the song is just there to complement the vocal. I can go through, I guess I'll just go through section by section so you guys can see kind of how I EQ'd and did everything for for every single part, just so you get an idea of what I did. So on these vocals, I actually had them processed outside of this computer session, but you can hear, and what I did is I cut this was just my personal preference. I cut the reverb off on the tail. You can hear it goes. And that was just something, I don't know why I did that, but I liked it. It was just a personal preference. For my vocals, I can show you kind of some of the processing that I do. Unfortunately, these vocals are already processed. I could show you some of the plugins that I could actually do some processing on here, just so you could kind of see what I would do if these were raw vocals. And let me look. Pull up again. So there's a couple different things that you can do. So there's this compressor, this compressor. These are both two good compressors. One of the things you want to do though is make sure that this analog creates some kind of, I don't know if you can hear it, but it creates some kind of like noise. So you want to turn it off and get rid of all that noise. So what I would do with this is, let's see if it even sounds good. So hold on. So we want to turn it down. So I like to have it compressing to -7 on that one. Actually, this one, hold on. The CLA goes first. The CLA 75 goes first, or 76. And so you put the input. I like to have that one hit at -5. And then you turn this one on. And that one reduces it, so then you just give it a little bit more. And also note that we're processing on top of processing, so I'm not going to do too much because it will just make this vocal sound like garbage. And so also what I would do, so after I've put the compressors on, I like to go through the vocal, so, and find the nasty sounds. and then bring those down. Oops. Bring them down. I've learned a lot since I released this song, and so I would actually do this. I would actually have done this before I released it, but I didn't. I like every day I'm learning new things. So this is a technique that I actually saw from Reed Stefan, his tutorial. He does it a little different as far as the processing go, but I like these two compressors. So it's kind of like you mix match what you like. If I always watch people's tutorials and then find the right compressors or the right reverbs that work for me. And so, yeah, you can hear that. Ooh, that's dirty. So you just go bring that down. Also, you want to make sure you give it a little bit of gain. Anytime you're going to do any cuts, make sure that you try to give it a little bit more gain because you're bringing down the sound, but you also want to make up for what you cut. And so, oops. And also, by pushing this button, it mutes everything, and all you're hearing is the part that you're EQing. So, like, you can hear that it's just playing through this boost that I'm doing, and the boost makes it so that you can really hear the nasty frequencies. There you go, that's a dirty one. You can just bring that down. And so that's basically what I would do with that. And then as far as reverb goes, I would put create another channel here and add delay. So take this delay, let's just put it here. Looks like I already did. Oh, well, looks like I already did this, so I actually don't need this delay. But what I would do is go take a compressor, and add compressor onto the delay, sidechain it to, let's just add it to the vocal group. And let me just bring this down. Let's do the same thing with the Valhalla reverb. I mean, this I would make this a little bit more just like fine tuned to this, because I think I'm using that reverb on other things, so I don't want to like mess with it. And the mono. So basically, that's basically what I would do if I was gonna reprocess these vocals. But since the vocals are already processed, I don't need to do that. So I'm just gonna delete this, right? Because we don't need that. Let's see. Can you go over multi-band compression a little bit? Sure. So let me find a sound that you would want to well, so OTT is a great multi-band. I use that on pretty much everything. And multi-band basically is you basically are. Why is it multi-band compression? Let's see. So this is basically just compressing certain sounds in different frequencies. So I like to add it to like, let's just say, you know, it's funny with this track, there's really no OTT on anything. I really went 0 OTT on this stuff, which is kind of crazy because now I put OTT on like everything, and especially just like a little bit. And so with this, let's just do this ARP real quick. So this is. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I would do. Like, let's actually, you know what? Let's put it on the leads here. Let's go to the drop. So Do you gain match prior to your master, or do you utility reduce gain then smash? Do I gain match prior to my master? Do I gain match like what in particular? Are you talking about like when I do EQing? Do I gain match? So what I do as I go, I try to mix as I go, and so that when at the end you're literally like, if you look, the master is just a compressor and a limiter on this. And look, I'm not saying I know everything about how to do this. Everyone does things differently, and there's millions of right ways and wrong ways to do it. Like, I can show you what I'm at right now with this before like on the drop. I'm at like -2, -3. So I try to make sure that nothing is peaking. But yeah, I just bait, and then once this is on, it's. I heard a thing, a comment from an artist named Star Killers, and his concept was that if 0 is 0, you know, so like you can smash it to go as high as you want and try to find a equal medium before it starts distorting, and hopefully you can get it before it distorts. But there's millions of ways to get your song to be loud. And so if you do a mix that sounds fire, and you know the mix sounds good on its own, then the mix sounds good on its own. You know, you don't need to have it at -12 and then turn it up. It's like, think about what you're saying is you're taking a sound that's already at 0, you're turning it down, and then you're bringing it back up to 0. So, you know, you can, and like I said, I do things differently with every song. Sometimes I'll mix at -6, -7, and then I'll master it and turn it up, and sometimes that sounds good. It really is just specific to every single song. I like to work at, you know, around -3, and sometimes I'll even have a song at 0, and then I just throw a limiter on there and turn it up, and it sounds amazing because a lot of the processing happens within the sound. So like, for example, this is actually really crazy to look back at this song because of how different things are now, but how different I do stuff. But for this sound right here, this is the OTT. We can go. You can see how much body it gives it. And I actually, I turned the input up on this and pulled it all the way to the front so that it just makes the input loud, and then I turned down the output in certain places, because with this specific sound, I layered it with this. So it's... So yeah, it's basically you're just trying to make the sound feel big and clean, and there's many ways to do that. A lot of, you know, dipping in 300 frequency, that's where a lot of mud lives. Also 900 frequency, a lot of mud lives, and you would just want to make space for all your sounds to fit within the spectrum. You got to think of your project as a big spectrum right here. You have to have all your things fit within this section. So you can't have all types of different sounds conflicting each other and fighting for space, and you want to make sure that every sound has its own space. And so using the least amount of things as possible. And certain music, you think about like a band, right? And a band has, most bands, they usually have a guitar player, a bass player, a singer, and drums. Sometimes there's a piano player, sometimes there's sax, sometimes there's other instruments, but for the most part, your core breaks down to 4 elements, right? Your drums, your guitar, your bass, and your vocal. And that's like the OG way bands are playing music. And so obviously with EDM, there are no rules. The rules are meant to be broken. So to go in and basically break those rules, but don't do it in a way that sounds too messy. And I think that it's important to just find space for all your sounds. So for this particular sound, let's see, I like to sometimes go into presets, and then from the preset, I edit it to make it just to give it my own flavor. Sometimes I'll change the oscillators to be different. But yeah, this is basically for this. So basically for this sound, I have, let's see where we, okay, so the envelope here is on the filter. So that's what's giving it the so, and it's just hitting this. And then also what I did is I changed the attack so that the attack wasn't like right on the money. Oops. And the same with this. So like before it was like, see how it has that like, so I gave it just like a little, took out the attack up so that, and I think that's like a really cool way to find really awesome sounds, is to go and find a preset that you like, and basically go find a preset that you like and mess with it, because these presets were all created by really talented people or musicians, and yeah, that's just basically what the most, and then once you can go in and make them customize them to however you want your song to sound. Yeah, the chords in here, I mean, it's funny, like most of the times when I'm building chords, like I sometimes don't even really know what I'm doing. I'm just building stacks on stacks on stacks, and you can kind of see kind of what and how I'm building. I mean, there's 4 of the same notes in these stacks, and it's just about finding the right kind of voicings within each stack to make the sound full and to create the kind of the vibe that you're looking for. So and a lot of times what I do is I will play just a simple chord, and then I'll rearrange them in the project to kind of give it the vibe that I want it to have. In this particular one, yeah, I just laid down chords, laid down simple chords, and then stacked them until they sounded really fire. And then from there, once I find the right chord progression that I like, then it's all about laying down your bass line. And this is a really dope sub. I have no idea where I even found it, but it's just friggin' so huge. And this is pitched down 7. Yeah, like I said, you always want to have your bass in mono, and just because you want that to be, because especially like in the nightclub when your song is played, you want and obviously the sound system in the club is in mono, so it hits like super hard if it's in mono. If it's wide, you could potentially have 0 bass in your song when it's played. With this kick, it's actually funny. This kick, I jacked it from Louis the Child's song Slow Down. I found a instance in the song where it literally was just the kick, and I snagged it, and it just fit so perfectly with my sub. And also, it's important to make sure that there's no, like if you're going to stack a kick on top of the sub, you want to make sure the bulk of your kick isn't conflicting with your sub. There's a couple ways that you can do that, obviously with sidechain, or you could literally just go like that. So luckily, this sub had that already happening, so I didn't really need to do anything. Another cool trick that you can do if you want to if you want to actually make your own subs, is you can take kicks from, just take a kick and a sub like this, you can bring it up, and then you just go like this, or you just like combine them together. This is actually a Henry Funk trick, and you just turn it in, and then I think I actually tried to do that, and I thought it sounded. I think it was sounded better without doing it, but yeah, because it's something about having this body here. It makes this kick sound way better. But that is a trick. I wonder why it sounded weird. Vodka in water bottles. I think vodka in water bottles is that a trick question, or is that for real? I can't tell. Alright. Yeah, it sounds better without having it brought into one. I remember I even tried to do it, and it didn't sound as good. Alright, so let's go back through. So you guys can see like all the... Also, another thing that I like to do is going into new sections, I like to add like a reverse symbol just to kind of like lead from one section to the other. That's a personal preference. I remember I was tutoring an artist, and I was like suggesting that he did that, and he felt that it was cheesy, but I was like, oh, I do that on every song, so might be cheesy, but I like it. So that's kind of the thing. I like to kind of blend each section into the next with some, either a swoosh or some kind of white noise, whatever you want to use to go from one section to the next. But oh yeah, Jesse. Oh yeah, Park City. Goodness. Yeah, back in the day, we used to go super, super hard with the vodka. Not so much anymore, but yeah, we used to go super, super hard. Hope you're doing well, bro. So yeah.
Look, you got me in a trance.
Oh yeah, so one thing I was gonna say, you asked about like composing chord progressions. I mean, literally, I think just writing music in general is about finding a vibe. So if you can play piano, then you just play chords that sound good, that you feel work well together. I like to mess around and just, play a bunch of chords that I think are nice, and then sometimes I'll go in to just like play the chords into the project, and then I'll move them around, chop them up, layer them. There's a bunch of websites that you can, for people who don't necessarily play piano. Here, I'll actually show you, which is really cool. A thing you can do. Hold on. So if you type in, say your project is in B flat minor, you can do B flat minor chord scale, and you right here it brings up literally the chords in the scale, and then also does the sevenths, and so that's really helpful it's really helpful if you're you're not completely classically trained, or really good at playing piano. It makes it so you can actually just see what the chords are in your scale, and then you just lay them in there and you stack them up, and that's really a cool an easy trick if you're not like, you know, one of the best piano players, but it still allows you to create chord progressions that make you seem like you are. And I think that's really, really critical. Also, another cool, scalar. There's a bunch of, obviously, there's a bunch of tricks and trades you can do. There's also there's that native instrument controller thing that literally all you do is you push on the pads and and then you just are playing chords within the scale. That's really an easy way. I know a lot of producers use that. And it makes I feel like making music is all about flow. You don't have to have the craziest chord stack to make it sound good. Sometimes it's just about layering sounds on top of each other in order to make the sound really dope. Another cool website for finding things that are in like a key, it's this Online Pianist, and it shows you like, you can click on scales for any song and just shows you exactly what they are. That's if you're obvious. Some of this might be, some of this might be, redundant, but for anyone out there that's struggling with writing music, this is a great tool to have at your disposal. It's literally just an online site, just right there. I use it a lot. I'm obviously getting much better at knowing all the chord scale, all the notes and all the scales. But sometimes I'll retreat back to this because I like to go into like some really, really obscure chord progression or like keys for my songs, and this makes it so that you can literally just do whatever you want, which is really rad. Let's see, scalars. Also, oh yeah, there's another one. There's another. Let's see. There's another. Yeah, you can do this on instruments. I think there's a chord. I think it's called. It's called MIDI effects chord. So yeah, here you go. You can literally just drop this on, and you can do like all kinds of different types of chords. Fifth chord, and that helps a lot for. I mean, that actually doesn't show you what the chord is. It just plays like it makes it so that you play within, and then you can also do scalar, scale, and then you can pick the scale that you want it in, and it will make sure that everything that you play is within the scale of whatever key you're in. And that's cool, but again, that's not gonna show you what notes to play. And I think that's really, really helpful also with writing music, is knowing what notes that you can play within each scale, within each chord scale, right? Yeah, chord scales. Let's see how to play piano. So yeah, exactly. So like if you don't know how to play piano, then it's all good. Like there's a lot of, like when I first was getting started, I didn't know how to play piano. When I first learned to produce in 2000, I guess it was 2012 is when I first started, I didn't know how to do anything. And so just practicing a lot over the years and using these tools help make music. It's pretty awesome. And obviously we have Splice at our disposal. You could literally just go onto Splice and type in chords. Pick the key you want. Let's just say B minor. And then you have all these, like pretty much all kinds. I don't know if you guys can hear that actually, but there's just chords here, and then you can actually, let's just do something really quick. You can actually, no, not that. Let's just take this real quick, and I'll show you something rad. You can do, so here's, let's see, ooh, Jesus. This is a terrible loop, but you can just literally go and drop it in your MIDI. Oh wait, hold on. Is there anything here? Let's see. You can literally just drop it in there and then type in harmony, and it should bring up what the chords are. I mean, obviously this thing doesn't always pick it up right, but I mean, it's pretty close. you know, and then you can go in and you see your bass note, and then you can go and stack your chords on this. And look in the scale of B minor, and you can just start building your chords that way. Yo, what up, Sam? How are you, brother? Let's see, you had a question, probably super beginner question, but what octave would you put your chord, and what octave you put your melodies and counter melodies? That's really to preference. There's no like right way. There's no like, oh, you have to do it this way. Usually you want, well, for future bass, let's see, with future bass, you would want your, let's see, how did I do it? Let's just look. These are questions that I'm not really sure what the answer is. It's more of just about feeling what sounds right. If it sounds right to you, then do it. And that's kind of how I'd like to make music. I don't like to use rules saying, oh, you have to do this or you have to do that. I feel like you can choose what you want, and if it sounds good, it sounds good. There's no way to deny it. Even if it breaks the rules, for like this is kind of like a low. I mean, look where we're hitting. We're like all the way down at 0 and all the way up to 3. So this chord hits so many octaves that like it's almost, yeah, we're like spanning across 3 different octaves. So actually 4. 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 octaves on this thing. So this chord stack is nuts. And then what I did is I just layered it with this kind of, I wish I had the synth for this one. I actually went to try to find where I bounced this. This particular project, you can see it's version 20. So I was going through and trying to see, because there's also a bunch of different versions that I tried. So there's, and this one, and the one I went with, this one, without the attack. So I think for this track, I really just didn't even want there to be any attack on the hit. And so when you layered it with this, it was... and so you just want to make it, if it sounds good, it sounds good. For your system, you need to at least have certain aspects. Yeah, that's true. You do have to have certain aspects. Like with this, I felt like when I was making this particular song, I felt that with these 2 chord stacks and the snare, the sub, and the kick, that literally was enough to fill the whole spectrum. So. And then what I did is after, see that, I felt like that was full enough to fill everything up. And then what I did is I added this vocal to kind of, this is your counter melody. And I felt like this really took it to the next level. And with this vocal, I actually just took her vocal and I pitched it up. And I took her vocal, pitched it up, and just chopped up her, like here, I'll show you what I did with this. Take this down and we can stretch it out. So I literally, so this is what it is. So I took her the verse that she sang, chopped it up. I may have, so, and then I like just picked little parts that I thought that could make like a cool, kind of like a cool melody with her vocal, like to do like a cool vocal chop. And So yeah, I just took little pieces from her vocal and just pitched it up. Literally, when I pitch stuff, I just use this transpose right here. And then one of the things that's really important when you transpose is to go into this little area and go to Complex Pro, and then bring down the formants, and it will make it so that the pitch is more it's more true to how you have it. So if I bring this, let's just do an example. So if I brought this up to 100, see how it's like the pitch is off. So you can see how it changed the actual sound, and now it's more true to this 12 to this octave up. But what you can do is you can give it more formants if you want. For this particular one, I wanted it at 0, just because I felt like it needed to be like right on point. How did I make that chord fill effect? Let's see, what this thing? This is like a freeze of something that I did. I'm not even sure how I did this. I think it was just a chord, and I froze it, and it might have actually been. I don't even know how I did that. Let's see. I think it was like kind of an accident. It was just a chord hit, and then when I froze it, it like did something weird, and this is kind of how this fit in there, and I like. It even sounds different. Like I think that was just like an accident. I feel like I'm not even sure how I made that, but yeah. What do you use for pitching up your Vox? Oh yeah, so like I just used what's in the system. Another thing that you can do is you can go to if you have Waves plugin, you can do pitch shifter, and you can do ultra shifter and put it on. I'm gonna delete this actually, just and this is a good way to bring up to pitch. I actually should do this, but I don't. Oops, go up to 12. So, oh, shit. So there, 12. This will actually only goes. I guess you could do sync. I'm not quite sure what these different ones do, but let's give it a go. We'll open this. Let's see, wait, why? Hold on, sorry. So that's 12. Oh shit. Just pitch this down real quick. It sounds different, which is kind of crazy. It sounds different. It's kind of crazy. Let's see it. Yeah, it's cool. It's kind of crazy. There's still remnants of the original pitch in there when I put this on there, which I actually don't like. I like the squeakiness and the chipmunk vibe. That just sounds so much cleaner having it like that. So there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. Pitch shifter keeps the original. That's right, yeah. I added this. This is a cool little trick as well. This is a sunburn reverb thing that actually just it adds, like, remember what I was saying about how when you use these sends right here, it puts things in the back. So this particular one, so basically what it is it's a reverb and then an imager that's like spreading it. I guess it even could be more spread. Usually I would use the imager on Ozone, but I got a new computer and I don't have Ozone on here. But this just makes it gives it a lot of width and space behind the sound. And so you can hear with this, if I took, it literally just makes it so much bigger and spread out wide, which I think is really, really, really cool. It's a cool effect, and yeah, you can thank Sunburn for that one. If you guys want, you can screenshot it. I'll pull up the parameters so you can see what I did. But it's a really cool effect to put on synths, vocals. You could even put it on like any types of drums, like snares, because it's sometimes cool to have like your snare in mono and then have this and just have it super, super wide. It's just literally however you are, whatever you want in your mix. So specific sounds work well with it. It's funny, I'm actually going to save this because I haven't been using it because of my new computer. So all the things that I had on my old project are gone. Yeah, let's see, what else can I show you about this project? Okay, I'll show you what I did with the snares. So another cool thing is, not always do you want to do this, but if you want to get weird with it, keep using like different kicks for different parts of your song is sometimes cool. So like for the drop, I have a different kick than the drop I have on the break. So for the break, I have this kick. It has I kind of liked how it had like some boom in it, but it also had a little bit of it had like some static on there, or like vinyl distortion, which I thought worked well for this breakdown part. Oh shit, what the fuck? Oh yeah, get this thing out here, sorry.
Look, you got me in a trance at just one glance. Ooh, your glory, I needed it. Look at my past, do you?
Yeah, because the kick that I have on the drop, I didn't like how it sounded in this part, because on the kick the sub is so much fatter than it is on the break. So this one kind of fills up that frequency a little bit. And then I just have a rim shot. That's this D'Angelo rim. And I cut at 300, boosted around 1,000. I also did like a dip here to cut off some of the high frequencies, because and then allowing this one to have the high frequencies and boosting kind of where this one cut, so making up for the space that I cut out of this one and putting it into this one. And when you put them together, they complement each other nicely. And then I put an imager on this, and I made it into mono so that it's...
Make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer. In every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
Just kind of like right there. And it's not totally mono, it's still got a little bit of width on it, but I think it sat really nice in the mix. Let's see. If you already talked about it, don't worry about answering. Came in late, sorry. But if you haven't already covered it, I'd love to hear about how you achieve your width in your synth without encountering unwanted phasing issues. Well, the trick with spreading is I like to use this image, this S1 image, because what's cool about it is you can literally pick different places where you want your sound. So whenever you're spreading, specifically with synths, you want to make sure every synth is spread to its own place. You don't want to have two synths spread into the same area, because that's how you're going to create phasing. So using this imager is literally you just got to trust your ears. That's the most important thing about producing music, is trusting your ears. Don't trust, I don't know, like everyone always likes to trust metering and things like that. I like to just use my ears, and if it sounds good, it sounds good. That's just at the end. That's just the end of the day. Obviously, you want to make sure it sounds dope with the metering, and you can use that to see how big your waveform is and things like that. But as far as like spreading, use your ear to hear if it sounds good. Also, sliding things to the left and right also help a lot. I'm not even really sure how much spreading I did on this track. Like even with the snares here, I actually added in another snare for the drop. I put this snare in, and what I did is I boost on. What I like to do is find here. I'll go like this, and we'll just go. So what I like to do with snares is find the on the graph here. Just go like this. I guess just so it's not super annoying, but find those little guys, right? Those are the peaks in the sound. So give it a little boost in those areas. Oops. 3. See how that has that little body right there? And then when it adds like, and then I added some reverb, and I put the reverb in behind it. So now you can hear it. That's what, oh, actually I put reverb on. Oh, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. Sorry. I just had the reverb in the back. So with the reverb, and I think that sounded really dope. Like when the drop came, it kind of like gave it like a delay effect.
Your love is a miracle.
And so yeah, that's basically, I wanted to add in an extra snare so that it gave it a little bit more punch. And it looks like I didn't even have it on the second half when the vocal comes in, and that might have been because it was too much for the vocal that was coming in. So. Oh no, sorry, this is the breakdown.
Can you show me?
So that's why I did that. And then we go back into the old kick from the breakdown. Another thing, for this track, I have a lot of fills going on in this particular song. How did I prepare the first layer? Sounds like they have it. I actually don't think that this is. Oh yeah. So okay, so the second layer here. This second layer has I EQ'd some harsh sounds out of it. And these sounds, I did what remember what I showed you when I was doing the processing on the vocal. There were some harsh sounds on this one, and I actually, I think I pitched. Oh no, this one's up too, so they're both. And I spread this one to the left, so this one's just spread over to the left. And then I added some saturation. I put a de-esser on it, not just the straight Ableton de-esser, and put some saturation on it, and did a dip in the 300, and yeah, it just, let's see what it is. I did add some panning to it, so what I would do is go to pan, let's add the panning on there. What I would have done is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I did it like this. That's what I did. I just had it doing like a real slow pan from left to right, just to kind of give it some movement. You know, one of the things that's really important, and I've learned this since releasing this song, is adding pan movement to your synths, just to kind of give it, just so that it feels like it's moving along. You know, sometimes when you have like simple piano and pads and things, if they're just, you know, they're not, a lot of like pianos, they don't move unless you're playing like a piano melody. So putting a pan on it actually like makes it feel like it's moving, and it drives your song a little bit better. So like for this actually had a pan on it. So what I'll do is auto pan. Yeah, auto pan. So actually, that's funny that I even thought that. So like this actually did have the pancake on there, but since I don't have pancake, I would do so like now you can hear it without it. See how it's like more just like very stoic, just like right there, bom, 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 like this makes it so, and it's like moving in your headphones. I don't know if you guys have headphones on, but, and it just makes it so that like gives your sounds a little bit of extra movement, kind of like what the Transgate does here. But I like to, I learned this from Tease, and when we were working on a song together, he was putting this pan on everything, and it kind of blew my mind about how much movement it actually gives your song. How do you check or make sure your bass sub isn't too loud but still strong? Again, that's something that you just have to listen for. You kind of just want to make sure to have, you kind of want to just make sure that your whole song is mixed around your kick and your sub. So when you have your kick and your sub in perfect relation, everything else should be mixed around it. You want it to feel not too loud, but loud enough. So like, usually on breakdowns, you don't want your bass slamming. Obviously, if you're doing like a dubstep song or whatever, then, you know, you can do that to your specific taste. But for this particular vibe, this wasn't meant to be like a friggin' club banger. Obviously, you can play it live and it still rocks, but it's not meant to, you know, rip your face off in the club. But if you listen, you can hear, let me bring up the sub so you can hear. And also note that when you hear it, you can hear how wide the bass feels. And the reason that it feels wide like that is, one, I have the low, I split these basses into two. So this bass is the low end, and that's in mono. And then this one is like the mid and high end. So you can see how I EQ'd it. So it's literally just this middle. We're starting at 137 and it's end at, you know, 1500 hertz. So, or kilohertz. And so when you play them, and I spread the shit out of it. So, you know, now it's like, when you play them together, they don't conflict. They're EQ'd separately and differently, and they just seem wide. You can hear that. One thing that I would have done is I really like, well, I'm pretty sure Ableton 10 wasn't out when I made this song, but I really like this bass extender and the glue compressor. I think this is a really cool way to get more low end into your subs. So you can actually turn it. I would turn it down a little bit, but compare that to, see how like the actual low, this gives it so much more like body on the low end. So I would actually put this thing on just because it makes it super, super fat. Another thing that I usually do with my subs is go, I go, this is a cool trick. Let's see. Oh, shit. This is a cool trick for your low end. So here, let's turn the bass extender off just so that we can hear it. And let's just do this quick little loop like this. Turn this up. Saturation, maybe not that much. Let's just do 4. Bring the bass down to -4. And then make sure that you turn this down, just because it can turn the sound of the bass up much louder, because we're boosting up the drive. But this just gives it like a lot more low end. it like saturates the low end. And then if you want to get crazy, you can give it a bigger curve. That's if you just want to make that thing super distorted and nasty. Obviously, these are all just like, you know, for whatever specific project you're working on. There's no. I do this on now with all my songs. I've been doing these quarantine beats every day. I've been putting this low extender and the saturator on. That's like my go-to. I put the EQ on, cut out the highs, put my the low extender. I do it like this. Yeah, put that on at the end. I put the mono at the end. Because sometimes, I'm not sure if these actually specifically do, but sometimes if you put the mono in the beginning, the mono starts it, but then sometimes whatever else plugins you put on can, you know, turn it into stereo. And so if you just put it at the end, that means that the final signal coming off is mono. So that's what I would do here. And then for on here, you know, when your drop comes in, you want to make sure that the bass hits hard. So you finding the right sub sample is also really important. If you're not going to use a sub, a great bass is in Ableton stock is the hip hop bass. I like to use the hip hop bass a lot. Hip hop bass. This bass is really dope. Let's see. I mean, it's already super fat. I mean, if you do this and you put the extender, let's see, bass, low extender, it's already super fat. And then you put the saturator on there, and you go. So that's already super fat, and then you can here you can just make maybe a little bit. We already have some. There's your 908. So that's basically, you can make your own 808 right there, if you wanted to do it that way. I like subs, I like 808s that other people make, and then I can go in and mess with them. I don't know, these guys are all like super pros at this shit, so might as well utilize the tools that we have. And yeah, sorry. So, and then so your sub and then your kick. Oh yeah, and then make sure, and then we'll bring in the snare. So. So it's literally just making sure that trusting your ear again, you know? And then and even with the high synths coming in, like, you still feel that low end bass that's like, you know, cutting through nicely. Because what I did is I made sure that I cut the low end out of these. I didn't even like cut this too much, which is interesting. You know, only 77 right there, which I guess that just worked. Let's see what I did on this. This one I specifically cut more out of around 100, and then I actually 102, and then spread it, you know, and that just like fit perfectly within the mix. And then another thing that I do like. Let's see, what did you ask? How do you make the 808 sample pitch down? Okay, so, like, Let's see. Oh, right there at the end. Let's see. So what you do is you go into envelopes here, and you click on clip. Sometimes it switches over to mixer, EQ, Key8 mono. This is basically just all the things that are on the channel. Make sure you click clip, go to transpose, and then I just transposed the end of it so it went down, you know, I guess 13. I would have made sure that I would have done it at 12. Or actually, maybe, oh, I know why I did 13, because it actually goes down into that note. So it's pitching down. See, this next one is down one step or a half step, and so I have it pitched down to go into this next bass sound. So it's, yeah, that's a good trick that I like to do. Is and then again, when you're pitching your 808s, that gives it movement, and you know, let's see. I think I actually. Do I do it again? Oh yeah, this one goes down a little bit. And then does this one? Yeah, I didn't do it on this. But sometimes I like to pitch it up so it goes, and then it like into it. And that's really cool. That's a trick. You know, I learned that from, well, I'm not sure where I learned that trick, but I was having a chat with Henry Fong. And Henry was showing me his track Rave Tool. And if you listen to Rave Tool, what he did with the bass, one of the things that makes that thing so nuts is he actually does that the transpose up on the bass, so it goes and it like gives it that like extra kind of like forceful push going into the next sections, which is cool. And at the end of the day, it's just about getting super creative with what you want. You know, there's no right way to do it. There's many right ways to do it. And it's just about having fun, you know, and not getting too frustrated with not being able to figure something out. Also, I do a lot of YouTubing and watching the pros like Virtual Riot, Reed Stefan. He's got a bunch of really cool tutorials. There's so many out there. It's just like, there's actually so many out there, it's hard to like find the real good ones. But it's just about finding the producers that you love, and usually they have some cool tutorials. I know that what's his name, Keizo, had some back in the day. He was doing a lot of live streaming for his tracks, and that was really cool to watch some of the ways that he approaches things. Let's see, what else for this song? Oh yeah, so another thing that I like to do is leading out of my drops, I like to put a riser. And that just kind of like builds a little more energy going into the next section. So you can kind of hear it. It's super faint, but it's enough that it kind of like builds up kind of tension going into this next part. Can you show me? And then again, I use this crash. This is actually from my sample pack. This is the Tokyo reverse cymbal that I made for Splice. So there's a bunch of cool stuff on Splice that I made. If you guys are all interested, check that out. Let's see. Oh, one of the things I wanted to show was the fills. I think the fills are really important to kind of like just fill space. I guess it's kind of, you know, that's why they're called fills. But creating empty space and then using like percussions and things to fill it up. So I like to just take like little samples of people's stuff. So I guess this is like, that's just a crash. Oh wait, no, sorry. There's the crash. And I do this. There's another one. This one has like some crazy delay on it. And I think that's just like all about finding just the right samples. I mean, you can see they're just a bunch of random things that I did. I think I actually even switched it up for this drop. Let's see. and yeah, just adding delay and reverb on them, and literally that's basically about all that I did. But it really changes the game of having them in there. And yeah, I think that's about it for this project. If you guys have any more questions for this one, let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna switch over to the next song that I'll walk through. So I'll wait a second because there's like a 20-second delay. But if there's any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna switch over to the next track. Alright, cool. Well then, I'm just going to switch over. Alright, let's let this thing load up. Alright, so I'll just go through this one. I'll go through this one.
About to swim into and you all the night dress.
What's a piece of advice you could give an upcoming future bass trap artist that's struggling to sound unique? Let's see. I would say, let's see, what's a good piece of advice? You know, I would just try to, you know, this sound that I created with these tracks, like, I'm not making these future bass tracks anymore, just because the sound is, I don't want to say outdated, but it's just played out. A lot of producers have decided to go this route, and yeah, it's very, I think it works, but what I would suggest is to go and listen to the artists that you love that are not EDM. And go in and listen to certain elements that they're using in their songs, and pick unique sounds. If you're gonna make the sounds yourself, then you know, so be it. But it's all about that unique sound, and that just takes time of, you know, sitting in the studio and experimenting all day, every day for the rest of your life, or at least for the next, you know, 7-8 years before you even found it. And for me, I don't even know if I found it. I think that I'm evolving as a producer every day, exploring different types of genres, but it's just about finding the right sounds to fit in your project. Sorry about that. And so, yeah, we just try to, you know, not try to copy what other people are doing. That's obviously the worst thing you can do. But to just it's hard to, like, it's hard to find your sound. Let's just say that's like the hardest thing to find is your sound. But what I think is to go back to your roots of where it all started, what got you into music, and listen to those bands that actually, you know, influence who you are as a musician, and try implementing that into EDM, like taking a spin off of reggae or, you know, jazz, or like with this particular song, this one I'm playing right now, it's very jazzy. I wanted to go like super, super jazzy with the piano. I actually got a little bit of help with this one on the piano, because I wanted it. I had this vision, but I literally just like couldn't do it myself. So I got in the studio and kind of reiterated exactly the vibe and the feeling that I wanted, and was able to kind of coach the player into playing exactly what I wanted the sound to be. And that's also a really cool thing about being a producer, is that you can work with other musicians and players that are really, really, pro at their craft. Like for these quarantine beats that I've been making every day, I have a friend who is he owns a surf camp down in Dana Point, but he's a incredible guitar player. He just does it because he loves playing guitar. And in the beginning of the quarantine, he was sending me little riffs of him playing guitar, and I ended up taking one of the riffs, and he was recording it through his iPhone. And I ended up taking one of the riffs, throwing a gate on it, and and the gate basically just cuts out a lot of any noise when the guitar is not playing, so it just makes it so that there's no junk in the sound, and it ended up making these really cool beats with guitar. I'm not the best guitar player, and so it's cool to work with someone who is not a DJ or a producer or anything. He's just a player. He's sending me these little loops, and then I'm taking them and doing what I can with them, chopping them up and putting in drums, putting in piano, adding in all the effects, and then taking a vocal from Splice and making really, really cool beats. And that's been a really fun project for me. I've been doing music for so long that sometimes I feel like it becomes a chore, where I'm like, oh, I have to go sit down and work on a track. But doing this kind of quarantine beat a day thing has really broadened my creativity and taken my whole production to the next level. And it's a great exercise. And I suggest everybody who's listening to every single day have an intention to make something. It doesn't matter if it's just drums and a bass line, or just drums and a vocal chop, or if you are at the point where you can create a whole song in a day, then do it. But that type of commitment, you will see exponential growth in your production, and you'll also do things that you actually didn't even know that you were capable of doing, and creating genres of music that you didn't even know that you could do. And then after you have these songs a day that you did for a week, then spend the next week going back to those songs and finishing them up and listening to them. And I think that's really, really cool to do. I've been doing it, and I'm telling you, it's been so rewarding. And now I think I've made 32 beats since this whole pandemic shit went down. And what I'm going to do is, I've already started doing it, is going through and picking six ones that I think fit together, and then releasing a quarantine volume. So it's called Quarantivity. And I'm going to release it on Spotify, and it's just have content forever. I mean, I got enough beats that I can literally release 5 volumes over the next 6 months. And it's just really cool to have that kind of material to release. So, Justin, I find it easy to make these 8 4-bar loops, and I want to turn those ideas into full-length tracks. Any tips, specifically coming up with melodies and transitions out of drops and choruses? Okay, so, well, I guess it all depends on what your 4-bar loops are. So, coming up with melodies is literally just playing notes, right? So like I was showing before, I don't know if you were in here, Justin, but there's a website called this piano chords website is really, really cool. So also 10 Kettles is a really cool site. So this 10 Kettles actually lets you find, and I was working with an artist named Win and Woo. They showed me this, and basically, say your song has G sharp, B, C, A, and E in it. Those are the notes that you know are in this song. This shows you all of the scales in which these notes are played. So the top one, obviously the green ones say it's in E major, okay? So let's just say that's your melody. E major is your scale. Then you can go to here and you type in piano chord scale E major. And then you click on this, and boom, here are all your chords in the key of E major. And they have the sevenths as well. So what I would suggest doing, if you're having trouble, coming up with melodies, just start playing around with these. Go into Ableton and open up or whatever DAW you're in, an operator, and if you don't have if you're not a player, and you can't actually play these on the piano, just start writing them in. So we got E, G sharp, B. So E, G sharp, B. So there's your. Actually, I would use grand piano. This is a really good way to do this. Oh shit. Alright, so there's your E major chord. And then you can do F sharp minor, which is F sharp, A, C sharp. So you do F sharp, A, C sharp. And then you got G minor, G sharp minor. And you go up to G sharp, E, and let's just put in A major. Just for I mean, what you can do is you could actually put every chord in the scale, and then what I was just going to suggest doing is finding what sounds good. And what you can do, so that's basically, bring this up. So I would bring this over. Let's bring that over to, actually, let's do this. This is obviously not how I would do it, but if you're unable to play, this is a great way to get creative. So you can go, oops. And what's a cool way to do it is to bring this down like that. You just push shift down, and it brings that down. So you can. That already sounds good. Oops. Bring these two down so that, or actually, let's bring just this top one down. I mean, here's a 4-bar melody that I just wrote. I would actually maybe bring this down. Nope, that's not the right note. So let's find a different one. Let's do C minor, C sharp minor. I think that could be a good one. C sharp, E, and G sharp. I mean, that works right there. I mean, obviously, you probably can find a better one on the last one than that. Maybe B major would be better. But my point of this exercise is just showing that you can literally just write in the chords. You don't have to even know them. There's the tools that are all right here. You have this scale right here that just shows you exactly what it is. You have your key finder, so you know found what key your song is in, and you just go in. And then if you don't want to play the chords, you can go to this online piano chord and find your G major scale, and there, A, B, C, D, E, F, E, and then F sharp. Those are your, or E major, sorry. And those are your, that's your scale, and then you can just write it in and just find what sounds good, you know? And you can even do, let's see. I wish I had my piano in here. I would just play it for you guys so you can hear it. But yeah, here, let's see if there's another. Let's do B major. That's probably B. I mean, that works. You could even go like this. This might even be better. Right, hold on. I don't know. I guess my point is that you can literally just come, and the point of the exercise is to show you that you can literally just mess around with these chords and just find what sounds good. And you just keep messing around until you come up with something that sounds really fire. And I think that's really helpful when trying to come up with melodies and transitions out of drops and choruses and things like that, is to just get creative and move these chords around to find a melody that sounds really nice. I hope that answers your question with that exercise. So yeah, we got about 30 minutes here left, so I'm just gonna go through this track, and we'll play it through, and then you guys can ask me any questions you want, and I'll go through kind of some of the I can show you how I did these chords, and I came up with the synths and the layering on this. Actually, that's what I'll just do. I'll just play the build going into the drop, and then I'll show you what I did here. Alright, so let's go into this. I'll show you what I did here. So let's just start with the synth. This synth that I made here obviously was originally this SY ticket, and I went in and messed with it. And what really does the trick on this synth is the automation I did with the auto pan. But I can just show you. Oops. And really what makes this synth so fat is the layering that I did. And you can see that the layering are just single notes, and the chord is really wide and airy. It has reverb on it, so I put an EQ on the actual synth. It's got chorus, it's got the compressor, distortion, and then the hyperdimension. Hyperdimension gives it like width and space. Distortion obviously makes it crunchy and distorted. Compressor, this compressor actually distorts it kind of as so So it just like kind of smashes it and brings out the highs and takes away the lows. So I guess it would be mids. And that was basically what I wanted for this synth, was to have it crunched like that and thin, because I was going to layer it with these other sounds. I also put portamento on it, and portamento kind of gives it a I don't know how to really explain what portamento is, but I can actually just show you. So basically what it does, it goes and yeah, I guess you're right, glide. That's what it is. It's a glide. Thanks, Justin. All right, and so after I have this sound, I added this top pad thing. Let's open this up. And again, it's just about finding the right sounds to fit on top of each other and, messing around with it. Again, this is just pretty simple EQ, taking out the low end, chorus, just to make it wide, compressor, bring out the highs, hyperdimension, give it some space, distortion, give it some crunch. And then I have this. It's like a mid. So all the mid that I took out of the chord is now right here. But what really takes this to the next level is the automation, like I said. So with this auto pan, what I did is I created a similar effect to taking the LFO and putting it on the low end. You could actually put it on the low or on the level, and it would do the kind of a similar thing. But I like to
make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer in every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
I feel like I have more control when I use the auto pan. So basically, the trick to making it like this, you can look at kind of my parameters. You give it 100% amount, and you take the phase down to 20, shape down all the way, offsets like 31.4, and then you make sure that you change. That's what it would look like normally if you added it in. So if you click this note button, then it actually allows you to affect the rate by by the numbers here instead of it being hertz. And so if you go into the automation, you can see what I did. So it starts in 16th notes, and then and then in here. Let me go. So you can see. So starts in 16th, goes into quarter, eighth, half, 16ths. And having them all doing that. So I put the same thing on every single layer. And that's what really, that's like what really gets this thing to have the movement. Also, on this, I have that sunburn reverb thing that I had showed you guys earlier. for all the new people that are here, if you guys want to see what this thing is, you can copy down the parameters or screenshot or whatever. But basically what this is doing is it's giving it widening space behind reverb, or it gives it wide reverb behind the sound. And so that just basically fills up a lot of space that might not necessarily be filled with your sound. So it's a really cool trick to do, and it really helps a lot with the width. So I'll show you what it sounds like with, without, with. You can hear the reverb. And so that's a really cool trick to do. And then I'm pretty sure I put the auto pan on the sub as well, just because I wanted the sub to be as one with the synth. Instead of it just being a straight sub, I wanted it to feel like it was wobbling together. What wave plugin is that again? I can't remember it. It's Imager. It's S1 Imager. So that's the plugin, S1 Imager. And then I put this kind of like droning bass underneath, and it sounds really nice with the sub. Also added OTT onto this thing. How I've been doing OTT as of late, which is different than I did, when I released this song last year, is I've been taking my OTT. Let's just duplicate that. Actually, let's just get a fresh OTT, and we'll mute this OTT. I'll mute this OTT. Oh wait, did I just fucking blow it? God damn it. So this is what I've been doing, is just turning it up all the way, and then just giving it just like a little. I kind of like that even better than how I guess it's pretty much the same, because I look how high I'm boosting on this one. This one's at 15. But yeah, I've been just doing this and just turning the, just finding the right volume that you want it at. Just adds a lot of more presence to all the different mids, highs, and the lows. But that's not what I did. What effects do you usually use on subs to make them besides a sidechain? It depends, really. I was earlier I was showing kind of the things that I do with my subs. I could go to this on the breakdown here and show you exactly what I did on this thing. This one doesn't have much. Literally, it's just a friggin' mono. But what I would do on this is I would add the low extender. It's a glue compressor. This adds a lot of like really nice low end. So here you can listen. It like just gives it a little bit more presence. Also, what I would do is add saturator and do -4 on the bass. Bring this up to 4. And obviously these numbers are I'm just throwing them out there. You can do it to however you want. The more bringing this down, the more low end it gives it. But also bringing this up distorts it. So if you're going to turn it up that much, I like to just do it a little bit. But yeah, you can hear that it's giving it more low end. You want to make sure, a lot of times I'll look on the meter right here to see if it's peaking, and you don't really want it to be peaking there, because you can always turn it up on the channel, but yeah, you don't really want it to be peaking on the actual plugin. Yeah, it adds distortion, and it ends up, oh wait, does this add some distortion? Because that's what I'm trying to go for, but I end up ruining it. Yeah, so this adds distortion to your low end, but it also adds low end. Excuse me, it adds distortion to the high end, but also gives it back the low end. So you can get real hardcore with it, and what it sounds like when you bring it down. And see how like the drive, so this at 0, it's like completely distorted. There's no low end. So boom, we got our low end back. That sounds good. I would actually turn this down even a little bit more. Maybe make up a little bit more. And now it works perfect. It actually sounds better like that. See, like here you can hear. I'll do a before and after. With and on. So it's pretty crazy how much that adds, how much presence that added to the low end. I'd actually leave it on there. I would add an EQ at EQ 8 after, cut it at 30, maybe bring this down a little bit. I'd also probably do a little dip around 300 just because it might. Look at that. So much better, actually. But the one thing about this song that I really like, especially when I was just listening to it, is how much space feels like in it. But the frequencies are filled, you know? You got the pianos, we got piano, the Rhodes, and then this jazzy piano, super aired out, a lot of reverb. I also like to use this Puke Text plugin. This thing's really cool because it gives it more presence. So basically you're boosting in these certain frequencies. I've been using this on my master. It's actually kind of crazy. I know it's weird, but Corey Enemy, he told me to use this thing if you need to give more presence to the higher frequencies on your track. And so with this one, I felt it was a little bit dull, and so by adding this in, it really gave the pianos a breath of life. It's not much. It's so small, but it's just enough that it kind of gives it some sparkle, which I thought worked really well. And then we have, our drums here, shakers, kick. Let's see. And then when we go into the build, one thing I really like about what I did in this is I do a sub drop that goes down like that, and then I reversed it and then faded it into the sub building, and that gives it it builds tension, and so when you're in a club or in a festival and you have a low end rising, it just gets the crowd hype, and it's a really cool trick to do on your tracks. But you also want to make sure that the proper EQ is on it, so that it's not the too much low end where you're because you want to make sure that most of the low end is cut leading into the drop, so that when the drop comes, it's the low end. That's where all the low end hits. So yeah, as you're building, you want to cut out the lows, filter your synths and stuff. I like to use this bass clef Easy Washout. He released that years ago, and it's really cool to put on your synths. And also turning down the volume. Looks like I automate. Let's see, do I automate? Let's see, what is this? Compressor. Oh yeah, so it looks like I'm automating the volume going out, so it's literally like this. and then boom, fills with air, gets quieter, so that, and then you bring your drums in, right? So your drums are going to be building, so. Yeah, if you can notice I have everything's dropped, like the volume during the builds are all going down. Kick, I got it automated here, going down 10 dB on that, just to kind of give it, and then it fills with space and goes down in volume, so that when your your drop comes in, it hits hard. And then my literally favorite part of the whole song is this, the coin drop. That just, creating that space and then having the coin drop. Let's see, Kevin asked, do I wash out my sub riser or just volume and EQ it? Let's see what I did. It honestly, you can do however it sounds good. This riser, I actually don't, the riser doesn't look like it's even being automated down or up. So, oh yeah, actually I do. I automate it. I automate my sub down and made sure that it was in mono, so that the sub, you feel, the sub feels like it's right there in the bottom. I literally try to have everything turned down as it builds. Obviously the vocal, I'm pretty sure stays. I can look though to be sure. Yeah, the vocal stays. I didn't automate the vocal. The riser stays. The sub goes down in volume because when a sub pitches up, it actually gets louder in volume. So that just stabilizes it so it doesn't get crazy. But it's only going down like 6 dB, so it's not too much. Let's see what else. Anything else? Rising? Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, so I guess I could show this as a good thing to know. When you're doing builds, to make sure that it really sounds fat, is to make sure your kick and your snare are filled in. I'm also transposing I'm transposing the snares, and I believe I'm transposing the kick as well. Up 12 dB, up, I guess this goes 12, and then I go another 12 to 24, just to kind of give it that extra tension. So it's and yeah. So I mean, in this particular one, I emphasized on the vocals and the percussions and the build-up. Well, not so much percussion. There's not really much percussion happening. It's literally just I have this like white noise thing. I have my trusty Tokyo cymbal. I have the sub drop, and then I got this downshifter, and then this riser. And so everything goes down except for the riser. I think this riser is the most important thing in the vocal. So everything else is being washed out and rising and being turned down. And the only thing that's staying is the riser and the vocal. And what I like to do at the end of the build, right before the pre-drop vocal, is to put a kick there, because that, when you're performing live or in the club, you want that hit to happen, and that's that moment before the drop, and then it hits and people go crazy. I think that's really important thing to put there. It's like almost like the stop before the big drop comes.
'Cause I'm a little bad for I'm a little bad for you. I'm a little bad for you. You sipping,
And then for this going in,
you sipping on some spirits. Out of body feeling, turn the lights deeper. It's like an hour is a minute. Touching on your skin when I'm fucking you. The lines that we're drawing, we're crossing them too. Good.
also another cool thing is to take out like all the instruments when at like the end of a phrase, and basically, you know, from here to here is considered a phrase, and or is that right? I guess it's 16 bars of phrase. This is only 8 bars. So, but at the end of a section, shall I say, it like just kind of gives the song like a moment to breathe, especially if you have a vocal going into the build or something. It's like a really nice way to transition into another section of the song. So from here we're, you know, in the verse, and it just like makes it so that it going into this part was like much smoother and cleaner.
'Cause I'm a little bad for
All right, and then let's see. I like to add vinyl crackles to this, to like the ends of my songs, the intros and the ends of my songs. It kind of like gives it that like old record feel, which I think is really a cool effect. It's kind of like an old hip hop trick. If you listen to like you know, old school Dr. Dre and shit like that, you know, a lot of like Eminem or whatever, they have a ton of vinyl distortion, almost like just like you're like, whoa. So it kind of gives it that like, I don't know, it's like that old record feel, which is a cool effect. And then so like after your drop, and then yeah, it's just a cool down. And yeah, and then just, I think it's all about structure, you know? Obviously, I don't color coordinate or anything like that. Some people are really, you know, into doing it like that, but I have a system that works for me, and it's whatever, you know? Are there any other questions or anything anyone wants me to show them? We got about 7 more minutes here. Happy to answer whatever you guys have any questions. Oh shit. Alright, my phone just died, so I'm actually going to open up the Facebook page here. Actually, let's see. So I can see if you guys have any questions. Let's see, go to the comments. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. We're moving up on 2 hours now. Be happy to answer anything you guys might have. Let's see if I bring this up. Oops. Oh shit. Let's see. Oh wow. So do you use the same kick from your verse build up in your drop? Let's see what I did in this one. This one, I used a different kick. So I like to switch up kicks. So whatever I use in the break is different than the drop, and that's mostly just because for the drop we're using an 808 sub, and on the breakdowns we're using just a regular kind of like bass that's like moving around. So the kick just didn't sound. I actually, if you look here, you can see I had it in there first, and then I changed. I actually changed the whole kick pattern. I'll show you what it sounded like, just so you can hear why I did it. I personally didn't like the way it sounded with this kick, but I can just show you. It actually doesn't sound that bad, to be honest. I did like this other kick better. I guess it was just my personal preference of, listening to the song. So here, let's just hear what it sounds like. It just felt like it was too much. Like it was like overbearing the song. So with this, like, see how that one just like, it doesn't need so much low end, and there's so much more in this kick. If you look at the comparisons, like, look how much body is it. I guess I could have cut it and, worked it a little bit better. But even looking at the transient here, like, it's just a completely different kick. And this one just sticks out super nice in the mix. So yeah, it's just about, preference, I guess. How do you like to start a track? So I would say the way that I like to start a track is, it just depends, really. Having a sample of some kind always helps a lot. If you have like a guitar or a vocal or even just like anything really, that is always a great way to start a song. But what I like to do, if I'm gonna just start a track randomly, here, I'm gonna close this. Actually, I'm not gonna close it. I'm gonna go like this. Like, I like to just like bring up some kicks, and I'll just like create a drum beat, So grab a kick. I can't even hear any of this stuff. Actually, what I'll do is I'll just take the drums that I have in here, and I'll just create a drum beat. And so, like, I just start with some drums. Let's take a snare, and it depends on what kind of track I'm looking to create. Let's just say I'm gonna do in 140. We can solo these two. So just start a little drum beat. Oops. Oh, those are loud. Sorry. So I'll always just start with a drum beat usually and build from there. So go. Let's see. Then just get some hats. So like something like that. Something like this. We can pitch that up. Like this. That could be cool. vocal. Let's just pick. That's actually pretty tight. I mean, already that's starting to sound pretty cool. I mean, and then you just build from there. It's just like build, 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 build. I mean, literally, from there, let's see what else can we add into this to make it really dope. Maybe take some of this. I mean, literally, then I just build from there and there and there, and then you just go, and then you just, think of producing music like a house, right? You got to build your foundation first, drums. Then you start adding in your walls. What are your walls? Maybe that's the bass or a piano or a vocal. And you add the roof, and that's basically the final product. So if you just fill your house with all these elements, you can strip it away. And I mean, this is just a cool little drum beat that I made with a vocal loop I found on Splice that I didn't even look for. It was the first one I found, and then added in some fills, and all of a sudden you got yourself a sick little drum beat. So that's basically how I do it. Let's see. How do you boost some sound that you want to have more presence without clipping them or distorting them? Saturator. Also, when using audio files for subs, is there a way to make them glide in between each other? So if you want to have more presence, OTT and Saturator, those are great plugins to help build presence. Also, what you can do is, like, if say you wanted this or you can turn things down. So like everything's kind of loud on this idea I made, right? So if you wanted, let's just say, this sound right here, this fill, you wanted that fill to have more presence, but it was so, like, your mix was already fire and you didn't want to like blow it, you didn't want to like, turn it up more, so you just add some saturation. You could actually give it some medium clip. That already made it louder. Then you bring the OTT on here, and then turn the OTT up all the way, bring this down. There, it's loud. Yeah, so literally I just added those two things on that sound, and it gave it more presence and more loudness. I hope that, and then the last thing I'm going to do before I sign off here, when you're using audio files for subs, there's a way to make them glide in between each other. So what you can do is you can always, if you zoom in on these two things, you can slide them over like that, and all of a sudden your shit glides in. See how that, like, there you go, look at that. That just, I boosted this up super fast, went up 12 dB, and then this one is just at 0, so glided right into it. You want to glide in that one too? So just use this thing. This helps glide your combined sounds into one. Boom, 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 boom. All right. I mean, there's other ways that you can do it, I guess. I would, let's see, how to glide it. I guess that's the way that I would do it. I don't know any other ways. I mean, I'm sure there's other ways to do it. You could just make your own 808s. You could just make your own 808s and just have them glide that way, using the portamento that I showed earlier. But yeah, cool guys. I hope that was helpful. I appreciate everybody's comments and coming in here and showing love and listening to some of the gibberish that I spit. I appreciate it. And yeah, if you guys have any other questions, or if anybody wants any mentoring or tutoring, or even you just want to hit me up and talk shop, feel free to hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. And yeah, I'm here for you guys if you need anything. And yeah, happy producing and good luck to everybody out there. All right, I'm signing off, guys. Take care.